This is KC Sports Network, proudly presented by Emprise Bank.
And we're back with another episode of The Breakdown here on Kansas City Sports Network. I'm Matt Hamilton. That's Chase Daniel. And Chase, Chiefs offense started looking a little bit more like itself. And I know there are going to be people that say, well, it's the Patriots. They're not a very good team. But that defense had been playing really well recently for New England. And the Chiefs just really picked it apart kind of at will. What stood out to you the most from what we saw from KC and how they got this thing rolling again?
Well, they scored 27 points. So that's a big deal. That's more than the season average. And I will say that, if you guys don't know Bill Belichick, okay, he's still a really good coach and a really good defensive coordinator, and so is his brother. And so they bring a unique skill set of in coverages, in dynamic, and how you're playing man, how you're playing two. It's all different. So that week of preparation, every time we played New England, and it's still, I watched the game, it's the exact same, just different wrinkles. It's annoying to get ready for that much stuff because it's a bunch of cover one and it's a bunch of cover two. It's drop 8. It's double robber and man. It's Tampa 2 man. It's like so many different variations. So your play call sheet, what Andy and Nagy had to do was like get a lot of good versus all plays and just hope you call it right. And they were on a really good path, honestly. And the game, obviously, like wasn't as like spread out as people wanted. They wanted a bigger blowout, whatever. It shouldn't even been that close. It was 27-10, and obviously the Kadarius Toney drop through the hands led to the interception. That's what they were able to get, 17 points out of, and they held them down. They sort of ran the ball out late, just get out of Dodge with the win. And I still go back to 4 drops by the receivers, right? Like it just does not seem to be going away. And I know people don't want to hear it, don't want me to belabor on it, but like that stuff matters. Like if you can't have a receiver room or somebody that you trust to go out there and catch the ball every single time, like Patrick Mahomes can't do it all. And I was doing a couple shows this week talking about this early in the week, and I don't want it to be remiss or forgotten, is like I'll always remember how Patrick Mahomes looked on the sideline after that Kadarius Toney interception that slipped through his hands. He was finally just fed up. It took him 15 weeks in the season to get fed up. But like, I just don't know how much, if you're a play caller and you're Andy Reid or you're Matt Nagy, you're a quarterback coach, or you're even Patrick Mahomes, I don't know how much more you can go out there and put these guys that aren't making plays out on the field. Like a Kadarius Toney is really good with the ball in his hands. Okay, so Jets sweep it to him, hand the ball off to him, let him punt return, kick return, give him 8 to 10 plays. This is what you're doing. And maybe not a lot of them go on and catch the football. It just, mistakes like these compound. They have to be perfect. They're probably going to go on the road for the playoffs. They'll get a home playoff game because they'll win the division. They should win out. But all this stuff, it just is like the story that never ends, right? It's just something that happens every single week to just think, okay, let's go. But I do like that they're moving in the right direction.
Yeah, absolutely. And for Mahomes, he's always an uplifting guy with his teammates. He's not somebody that blames his teammates really ever. He doesn't really show frustration with his own guys that much. So to get to that much of a boiling point for him, to see him explode on the sidelines, I think is really telling. And I don't, obviously Chiefs fans have been feeling that way for a while, but Mahomes is, has kind of kept it together. Do you think it could be a good thing that he's, obviously as a quarterback, you want to uplift. You were always so great at that when, guys had drops, things like that. But does it reach a point where it's a good thing to see the quarterback, show some of those emotions?
Yeah, I think so. Mahomes' pocket's a little lighter this week because of how he showed it to the officials a couple weeks ago, $100,000 fined. And I think, he'll appeal it and it'll get cut to 50 and he'll pay it and it'll be over with. But I do like the sort of fight and resolve from Patrick. Like, and he's not doing it in a way in front of the media to where he's showing up his guys. So I think that everyone knows the standard there, and that standard set by Mahomes. And if you're not up to that standard, okay, you might be playing this year, but you ain't gonna be there next year. And let's just be really clear about, like, whoever Mahomes wants on that field is going to be on that field, because Patrick Mahomes is the face of the franchise. Him and Andy have a really good relationship. And if you're on his bad side, like, good luck getting back on the good side. And he is a great dude. Like, he really, really is. teammates love him, great teammates. But at the end of the day, you can only be nice for so long. Like this is a business. And when your business is making my business bad and then Mahomes' business is bad, it's not a good fit.
Yeah, absolutely. And yeah, I think that's a great idea with Tony, having plays there specifically for him, kind of limiting what he's doing out there, because you're right, it's just not working. And if you're going to keep putting that guy in position, to have these types of mistakes, ultimately it ends up being on the coaching staff for continuing to run him out there. But let's start digging into the tape, because again, there are a lot of positives, a lot of creative stuff we saw to Andy Reid. I mean, he's the most creative mind in the red zone, and he took it to another level, pulling out this play from 80 years ago. What jumped out to you here?
Well, I mean, Rashee Rice, Blake Bell, Patrick Mahomes is in a 3-point stance. Jerick McKinnon, the right guard snapping. The left tackle is with the right tackle on the left side of the line. They have a tight end in a 3-point stance. And it's like, who's going where? Like, look at the defense. Like, when they snap this ball, like, this is the type of stuff that I've been telling guys about that just, like, literally love Andy Reid. Like, look at all 4 or 5, like, blue jerseys right there. Like, they have no idea. Of course, you're going to follow Mahomes. You're going to follow Jerick McKinnon. And, like, pitches it to Rashee Rice. You got guys pulling for blocking. Like, you could tell they've been practicing this play for a long time. Look at everyone standing up in the middle. Like, they have no idea where the ball is. Like, it's wild. You got a center or somebody on the far right who's blocking nobody, 52, and Rashee Rice gets a receiving touchdown. Jerick McKinnon gets a passing touchdown. Like, this is cool. Like, I love the fact that Mahomes after it points to Jerick McKinnon, and this just goes to show you, like, they still have fun at practice, man. Like, This is always a fun day for us. We always used to put in, like, cool new plays on Fridays, and we'd practice them Fridays and Saturdays in the season, and it would always be something to where, hey, unless we get it right, we're not going to run it. You could tell, like, I mean, they've always had, like, detailed, fun stuff like this, but to see it actually work in a game and to see Jerick McKinnon get a touchdown pass, to me, it's awesome.
It really is. And I've honestly, I've been waiting for this for years, since they first brought in Jerick McKinnon, because he was a triple option quarterback at Georgia Southern. And I was waiting to see them, bring that into play here in some form, given how creative Andy Reid is. But this was fantastic. Touchdown for Rice. And we talked about it a little bit on Up at Adams this morning with Kay Adams. Rashee Rice, over the last month, he's top 5 in every single receiving category. He's catching 85% of his targets, top 5 in yards, catches, all of it. So his emergence has been really special to watch here too.
The dude's balling, but he almost dropped it. Did you see that? Like, he almost dropped. Like, could you imagine if he dropped this? Like, this would have, like, I can't imagine it. But yeah, anyway, he is balling. Like, he is. And this is what I've said. We said it on this show. It's like, this is the guy of the Chiefs receivers that I probably trust the most. And to say that about a rookie, like, Kelsey is getting doubled, not really himself the past month or so of the season. I don't know if he's fully healthy. But, like, other than the MVS, like, you don't have anyone else on there. Like, Justin Watson seems to make a play every game. But, like, you can tell, and I know that, like, this dude is going to be a special receiver in the league. And the fact that he's getting more confident as the season goes on is good news for Chiefs fans.
Yeah, it really bodes well as they head down this final stretch and into the playoffs. And you mentioned Justin Watson and how he always makes big plays. Let's get to his big play in this game here. What jumped out to you? 3rd and 8.
Well, 3rd and 8, yeah, you see this little short motion out by Jerick McKinnon. Patrick Mahomes goes up. You can see it's man-to-man. It's clear as day. But it's odd spacing, okay? And down here, there's a tight end. Who has them? I don't know. They're having these long developing plays because they only think that they're rushing 3, when in fact they're going to bring pressure off this slot nub edge down here. And you're just going to see it's hard to win in man-to-man coverage with outside leverage. And Justin Watson, time and time again, seems to be that guy who is winning. Because in this coverage, it's one, like, double robber. See 8 dropping out right there. I didn't know he's that fast. And then you get a free rusher coming right at Mahomes, and he's not fazed by it. Jerick McKinnon should absolutely be blocking for Mahomes and not getting your franchise quarterback crushed. But the fact that he's able to throw this 20, 34, 35-yard splashdown corner with the guy right in his face. Look when he's releasing this football. Like, good angle by Justin Watson, throws it up high. And the fact is, though, that like he's able to beat outside leverage on a corner route right here by just selling like this over route, as you barely just saw right there. To me, that's the story of the game, because that's what people have been God, why did 83 let him go? I don't get it. That's what people have been doing against the Chiefs. Honestly, they've been playing man-to-man and saying, hey, you're not going to beat us. So if you're not going to beat us, then we're going to play man-to-man, because they like Kelsey hasn't been himself. Rashee Rice has been winning versus man, but that's why teams have been doing this a lot lately. And teams will continue to do this unless the Chiefs can do things like this on deeper developing routes on third down and show that they can beat man-to-man coverage.
And this is a huge moment in this game, too. They're trailing at this point right before half. This ends up leading, as we talked about, 3rd and 8, ends up extending the drive, and they score a touchdown and take the lead going into half. So this is a key moment here, and as clutch a play from quarterback and receiver as you can get in that moment. But let's go on now to the touchdown that kind of put the cherry on top of this one. Clyde Edwards-Helaire thrusting to a big spot with Isaiah Pacheco out again. He really had a great game, over 100 total yards from scrimmage, and obviously this one was a beauty.
Yeah, I mean, the receiving threat out of the backfield for Clyde Edwards-Helaire like showed that he can be the guy. And obviously Pacheco out, like you said, is hurting him. But for him to come in and to make a play like this and a catch like this in a big time situation, put the cherry on top, as you noted, like they're playing cover 3 right here. All they're doing out of this backfield is running a halfback choice. And so the choice is the halfbacks either break out versus green grass is what we say. So if there's green grass, you're going to break outside. There's not green grass right now because there's a corner. Okay, you can break in or you can sit versus zone. Okay, on tape, I thought that he should have sat down instead of broken in. And this will just come from reps, and this will come from experience. And they're just running a 2-man game down here with this corner and this choice. And so when you go and you pause it right there, you see Mahomes' vision trying to throw it to him. Okay, there's a guy outside of him. There's a guy inside of him. What do you need to do? Just sit. They're playing a single high zone. You're not working Kelsey. He doesn't sit. Okay, probably not enough practice reps. That's fine. Just run the route full speed. Great job by Mahomes pulling it back. Okay, and then doing what Mahomes does down here in the red zone, and what everyone is so worried about quarterbacks doing is scrambling, buying time, extending the play, and finding Clyde Edwards-Helaire right here when he throws this, I'm like, this dude isn't open. And for the fact that he goes up and gets it like that and makes this like type of circus catch, like it's just got to give the coaching staff, honestly, like that's where my mind went, like, hey, this guy, we haven't been playing him a lot lately. He's had to play because of injury, but he took full advantage of every single opportunity that he had. Like, to me, that's a winner. And I mean, just what an amazing catch, honestly.
Yeah, and the throw is absolutely ridiculous too. Yeah. Mahomes just drifting to his left, doesn't really get set at all, doesn't really get himself in position to throw, and just flips it out there and gives his guy a chance. And having that trust too in, a guy who's basically your third string running back to just lay it out there and give him a chance to go up and get it. And a guy who's like, what is he, 5'6", 5'7"? It's unbelievable. Yeah.
It's impressive. I mean, if they get Pacheco back healthy on this stretch run and they're able to supplement it with, Clyde Edwards-Helaire, the more the merrier when it comes to playoff time. And sometimes you just need opportunities. And Clyde hasn't gotten a lot this year because Pacheco has been really, really good for them for the most part. But when you make plays like this, you're going to see yourself on the field.
Absolutely, and it's gonna be an interesting one this week for the Chiefs, taking on the Raiders, who are obviously coming off of a record-setting performance, putting up those 63 points against the Chargers, the most they've ever put up. And that's a franchise with a lot of history that's had a lot of big games. They've never put up that many points.
Getting the coach fired too.
Yeah, so Raiders are coming in feeling themselves a little bit. Obviously, the Chiefs took care of them the last time they saw each other. But what are you looking at in this matchup that might be a little bit different?
It's going to be a close game. It's not going to be some blowout. And I say that one, like the last time the Raiders have played the Chiefs, I remember the game last year. It was like 17-0. That was the Kelsey 4 touchdown game. And they always play the Chiefs well. Look, most AFC West opponents do. And you just sort of like the fight that you see in the Raiders. They fired their head coach, seems like so long ago. They got their interim coming in, just balling out of control. He's like, hey, we're putting the gas pedal down. Like Antonio Pierce is like talking this noise. Like it just galvanizes the locker room. And quite honestly, like he's like Antonio Pierce is sort of coaching for a job. Because honestly, like what he's shown me and at least people in the league and in league circles, like the dude can do a good job. Like, and that's the thing, like players really respond well to former players who coach because they've been in their shoes. They understand the situation. They don't make the situation too like high and mighty. Like, it's just like, let's go play the next game. And there's a sort of swagger and confidence. So a team that has really nothing to play for is always a scary team because they're going to lay it all out. There's going to be a fake punt. There's going to be a fake field goal. There's probably going to be a reverse pass. Excuse me. I'm just getting over the flu here. And so everything like that is on the table. And so the Chiefs just have to be aware because the Chiefs are playing for everything. It's two opposite ends of the spectrum. Like, I don't know if the Chiefs can get home field advantage. I don't like the Ravens have a difficult schedule. I think the Dallas is going to go into Miami and beat them. So that helps. But I think the Chiefs just got to worry about one game at a time because they're going to get their best shot out of everyone. So it'll be an interesting game. It'll be a lot closer than I think a lot of people think.
Yeah, and it's a great point about them laying everything on the line. We saw Jacoby Myers throw a couple of passes the last game. I'm sure there's going to be more stuff they break out. And it is an interesting point with Antonio Pierce because I think the Rich Bisaccia thing from a couple of years ago and them not really giving him a serious look for that head coaching job. I think, Mark Davis from people I've talked to, it seems like he kind of regrets that. And I think it gives Antonio Pierce an even better shot of maybe winning this job long term. But to do that, it's going to take him winning games like this.
Yeah, I mean, I totally agree. I thought Rich should have got that job. And there's something to be said about just like it's such a culture change going from Josh, who was there, and the Patriot way, and everyone's serious. And it was just like breath of fresh air when Antonio Pierce won his first game. They were smoking stogies in the locker room, like having
They're still
fun.
doing
like,
it.
They're still doing it. And like I'm not saying like that's the reason they're winning, but like there's something to be said about having a good time while you're doing stuff. And they're playing a lot more free, a lot more loose. Expect some trickery for sure. But yeah, I'm looking forward to this game. It'll be a good, fun game to watch.
Yeah, and it's going down Christmas Day, 1 p.m. Eastern. So that'll get our holidays started off right. Gonna be a really interesting one. And we'll be right back here to break it all down for you guys next week and look ahead to New Year's Eve, New Year's Day, and another round of great matchups. So for Chase Daniel, I'm Matt Hamilton. Thank you guys for joining us, and we'll see you next week. Have a happy holidays.